I thought of the title of my presentation tonight straight away, 7 Secrets of Credit Control. None of the first 6 are actually secrets. It's just that life gets in the way of what we would like to do, and our business takes over, and there's that fire to put out, and suddenly the phone goes, and weeks pass, and we still haven't done what we want to do. So, first secret. There are some basic symptoms, some basic warning signs that will manifest themselves. If you get all of them in one go, then it's pretty urgent that you deal with them. Cash in the bank is low or falling. The time that customers take to pay you is increasing. You're struggling to meet your quarterly VAT payments. You don't have enough cash to pay all of your bills the time that you wanted to pay them. You've suddenly dipped into overdraft, or actually you're approaching the limit that you'd organised and you thought, we'll have that, we'll never get as high as that. But it's approaching. Suppliers maybe always on the phone, chasing for payment, tying up your staff, tying up you, dealing with stuff that you didn't have time planned in your diary to deal with. Your new contract requires you to have a higher spend to satisfy it before you're actually going to get paid on it. Stock levels are increasing. Maybe you've identified that you've got some bad debts. You know, it's so easy to dismiss that with, well, everybody's got bad debts, there's a recession on. Actually, there are steps that you could take the first time you feel that to minimise that in the future. Your current lender wants to take a charge on your house as security for your current lending. You've lost a couple of key customers. That can happen, people undercutting all of the time. Your turnover's down, but the costs that you've got to incur just stay the same. Your in-house credit control systems are poor. Some of your in-house credit control staff leave, and you struggle to find the same quality to replace them with. You find that if that's happened, that you're chasing the debt yourself. Maybe you're chasing it on an ad hoc basis. In fact, if that's what's happening, then you'll probably find that you're sacrificing the quality of the financial reporting and the management that you had in place. Those systems aren't being kept as up to date as they were. Take a step back. If you haven't got financial reporting and management systems in place, then that's a sign that you're going to head for trouble as well. So these symptoms are warning signs that you might be heading. You might be heading for cash flow problems. You don't have them at the moment. You need to know how you can make a difference. Second secret, you must own the problem. Look, it's human nature just to do the things that we're good at or that we enjoy, and you shy away from the things that we don't like or find difficult. It's no good allowing that mindset to take a hold where the finances of your business are concerned. It's absolutely crucial that we face up to the responsibility for managing our business's finance and the cash flow. Everybody knows of businesses that have failed during growth. They're really buzzing, things are going great, they've got that customer coming, that customer's coming, these are next month, we've got that partnership and there's loads of stuff coming through. It's fantastic, really, really going great guns. So much, we've taken a couple of staff on to meet all the extra demand, 2 more next month, 2 more the month after that, and they're not there the following month because actually they had to pay all of those new staff, and none of these new contracts had paid out for them to have the cash to be able to do it. If financial planning or monitoring is one of your blind spots, you've got to try and work hard to turn that into a strength of the business. You've got to recognise that even if it's outside your comfort zone, financial management's critical, and it's the single greatest cause, lack of it, is the single greatest cause of business failure. Okay, third secret. I've got the low-hanging fruit, picking off the easy options. And I'm sorry, if this is O-level accountancy, it's amazing how some of these really basic things are missed because you're focusing on a much bigger prize. Debt collection is the low-hanging fruit. That's how we take responsible for dealing with these symptoms. Debt collection, let's go and ask for it. You know, what systems have you got in to be able to know whether you've got a debt that you need to collect? Have you got an accurate, up-to-date list of your debtors that tell you what they owe you, what for, and when it was due to be paid? Well, if you haven't got that, how do you know who it is that you've got to go and talk to? Is there somebody who's dedicated to chasing the customers for payment? And if there is, how often do they do it? We had somebody who's employed as the management accountant, and their figures and their management were fantastic. They were great. They were responsible for credit control, and they phoned everybody every week that owed them money. But they phoned them over lunchtime, and they phoned them after 4:30 on a Friday. And that meant that they could say to their director, have we chased everybody? You know, where's me cash? Have we chased everybody? We need it in. Wages next week. Bloody VAT quarter. God, the PAYE's in a fortnight. Have you chased everybody? Every week she could say, yeah, I've chased everybody. Everybody on that list, they're just not paying. And he, trusting her, said, what are we going to do? So you need to take effective action, is the point I'm making. If you haven't got any of that, have you considered outsourcing any of these services? You can outsource debt collection, you can outsource collection. There's all sorts of different lines on that at different stages. Even if you've just got a solicitor involved, that you can pick the phone up and say, there's another one that I want you to sue for me. At least deal with it and get after it. Have a look and see if you can insure yourself against bad debt. That's quite expensive now, but it is out there. And if it's a big amount, then if you don't do it, obviously you're running that risk. You're self-insuring. Amend your terms and conditions. Do anything to try and speed up payment. Just tweaking the terms and conditions with some standard terms in there allows you to, well, you could change the days of credit that you give, credit terms from 30 days to 14 days. You can chase everybody a fortnight quicker. You've got a statutory right to levy interest and levy charges. And if that's in your terms and conditions, actually not to do it is to lose some of the air of professionalism that you've got with your customers. If you've talked to them and that's in the terms and conditions, and if you are late in paying me, I've got a right to levy a charge and interest on what you owe me. I mean, you don't do it 24 hours after it's due, otherwise you lose all of your customers. But, you know, if you use that with discretion, you will drive that money in faster because they don't want to incur money for an expense for no benefit. But you also enhance your professionalism because you're on the case. Improve relations with your bank. Keep them informed. That might be dangerous if things are really bad. But actually, if you've got a decent relationship with your bank and you have a desire to keep your business trading, then it's always best that they know what the situation is. Accurate management accounts, key performance indicators, particularly that debtor days that I talked about. And also, it gives you the ability to monitor what's actually happening. Fourth secret, what colour are the traffic lights for your business? If you've done all of your systems and your procedures and you've gone and you've collected all of your low-hanging fruit and you still feel as if you've got some sort of a problem, it could be that you might need some more specialist outside help. And the indicators that your lights are changing, if it's green to amber, you've got plenty of time to sort it out. But if it's going from amber to red, then you really need to take action immediately. If you've given personal guarantees, to me, that's really worrying. That's traffic lights on amber. If your overdraft's increasing to the point that you need to go and ask for it to be extended, that's an issue you've got to get onto. If you've organised to defer your payments of PAYE or VAT to the Revenue and Customs, that's a sign that, you know, honestly, if you are having to spread this quarter over the next 6 months, how the hell are you going to pay the following quarter and the following quarter whilst you've got all of that to get hold of? You've got to take action and change things to be able to continue. If your current lenders are becoming difficult and if your prospective lenders just laugh when you pick the phone up to talk to them, you know, and if you look at your sales ledger and you're thinking, it's fine, I know we've lost all of those customers, but, you know, the two biggies are still there, and as long as we've got those two biggies, we'll be great. You might be, until one of them tells you that at the end of the month they're going with somebody else. A lot of these things that I've got are typical growing pains for a new business, and if you get 2 or 3 of them coinciding together, it's bad luck. But it can escalate the cash flow issues that you have, and it can just be normal growing pains. How do you increase your financial options? Well, there is hope. There's a whole load of flexible funding products out there. I'm thinking of factoring or invoice discounting. Raising finance, you can raise your finance against plant and machinery, commercial mortgages against your vehicles, against your stock. You can obviously restructure your debt with your suppliers. That's not with the banks, that's with your other suppliers. Restructure the debt. And also, you can go and talk to the revenue and customs, and if you're talking to them before they wanted to talk to you, and you can give them the prospect that this is a blip and you are going to get through it, then you can actually restructure the VAT or the PAYE or whatever that particular headache is. It's critical when you've done that you've talked to them first, because if they come after you, they're far less receptive. And if you say, it's all right because I'll pay you then, and you don't, then you've kind of given up your right to be able to do that, because they'll set it up once, and if you default on it, they won't trust you ever again to do that. Sixth secret. Right, how do you decide which financial product is right for you? Banks, lending criteria have changed, so it's difficult to use that traditional method. Also, if you're expanding or you need to restructure your borrowing and you approach your own bank and they don't like what they're hearing, you're carrying a major risk there, especially if you've already got cash flow issues when you're going to talk to them. And we've had people that we've tried to help who've come where their existing facility's been frozen, so the bank have just said, you want help? We're already helping as much as we want to help. We've had them where the bank said, what, we've lent you that and you still want help? Blimey, we're going to have to send some experts in to have a look at everything that's been going on and see whether we want to stay involved. And we've also had somebody come where he went to the bank for help, but the bank just was so horrified by what the situation was like. They said, you can't have any more, and in fact, we want you, as is our right, under the loan agreement that you signed however many years ago, we want you to pay that back to us now, please. There are other options other than go back to your bank, though, which is the invoice finance, the stock asset finance. They do have the benefit of being fairly immediate. People can move fairly quickly. They're very flexible. If you find the right provider, they can tailor, and they are fighting for their work, so they will tailor a deal for you. There's loads to choose from. I can only scratch the surface. I just know the general principles. There are all sorts of little tweaks and products that are specific to individual providers. Going to your own bank to ask for that sort of facility is a little bit like taking your wife along on a date with your mistress. If they know that there's that extra funding, you ain't going to get any help with what's happening in the bank. And in fact, if you start spending that on something that isn't reducing what you owe the bank, then you can cause yourself further problems down the line. The seventh secret, I already told you. The seventh secret is that the first six secrets aren't secrets at all. Cash flow issues aren't often the problem of the business owner. Failure to deal with the cash flow issue is. So the best kept secret is that there are experts out there who can pick up the baton at less cost than employing someone. The earlier that you can deal with these things, the easier it is to deal with, and the more options you have in the way that you need to deal with them.